Pack up all my care and woe, here I go, singing low. Bye, bye, blackbird. Where somebody waits for me, sugar sweet, so is she. Bye, bye, blackbird. No one here can love and understand me. Oh, what hard luck stories they all hand me. Make my bed and light the light. I'll arrive late tonight. Blackbird, bye bye. Pack up all my care and woe. Here I go, singing low. Bye bye, blackbird. Where somebody waits for me, sugar sweet, so is she. Bye bye, blackbird. No one here can love and understand. No one here can love and understand me. Oh, what hard luck stories they all hand me. Make my bed and light the light. I'll arrive late tonight. Blackbird, bye bye. Blackbird, bye bye. Hola. Hola, mi buena gente. Chris Tarugo. Bienvenidos. Bienvenidos a todos. Hello. Hello, Mother. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Nurugiza. Hello, Richard. Good evening. I am Ethan. This is the nosho. This is I think it's the summer solstice. Is it the summer solstice? It's something. It's one of those things. It's the nadir or the apogee or the perigee or the zenith or it's something. I think it's the longest day of the year. So yeah, I knew that at some point 9 p.m. would still come around and there'd be a little bit of light left in the sky. You can still see a little bit of sky between the trees. So now I am outside. I've come out to the porch. Yes, it's the first day of summer. Okay, thanks. You know, I remember pretty clearly in my youth, when I was a youth, back in my youth, that the 21st was the beginning of summer. Apparently now it's the 20th. You know, if you believe science, if you believe astronomy or astrology or whatever you believe in, apparently all those years it wasn't the 21st, it was the 20th. Um, hey, Chris, that's so nice of you. Thank you. Chris says, I bought your book, read it, then put it in one of those neighborhood book box libraries. I hope somebody else enjoys it. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. I love those little boxes. I know these people here in Massachusetts who were part of, at least in one area, maybe it was in New York, they were the founders of the organization that created those little boxes, those little box libraries, those free, um, tiny libraries. I can't remember what they're called. Love those things. Yeah, you know, there's so many books sitting on shelves, unread. Maybe they were read, but now they're not going to get read again. They really should be in circulation. I'm guilty of it myself. I have hundreds of books, and the ones I've read, some of them I'll go back and read again. But it's a nice idea to just get them out there in the world. Um, all right, Chris, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I have my retainer in, so it's giving me that little Is that a porch swing? It's not a porch swing, but it is a little wicker. I am on a little wicker rocking chair. This looks like it could be a porch swing, but it's not. This is just the railing on the porch, and then there's a screen. And then this is again, I told you the other night how my cinematographer showed up totally drunk and couldn't get the lighting right on the inside. Tonight, my set designer, same thing. I don't know what it is with these guys, and they're not friends. In fact, they have a rivalry going back to high school. One of them brought the other one in for the job, so I thought they got along, which is always nice to have on your staff. And when you have a big staff on a show like I do, it's really important from a managerial point of view, not to mention from an aesthetic and creative point of view. You want to have harmony and you want to have a feeling of synergy between all the elements in your team. And I'll tell you, when there's tension, the lighting guy and the set guy, they really I've seen them really there's a lot of hostility, and it's not that passive aggressive thing, it's the active aggressive thing. They just really they let fly a lot of barbed comments, a lot of um, insults, dirty looks, and then the occasional they'll bump into each other, and I've been afraid on a number of occasions that they're going to actually start throwing punches. Thankfully, that hasn't happened as far as I know. But one of them showing up drunk yesterday, the other one showing up totally drunk today. It makes me think, I don't know, maybe maybe I need to have an intervention. Maybe I need to sit down with my staff. I need to get an organizational psychologist um, to try to work it out so we can have peace here. And then most importantly, so that I can get my set designer to do his job, because tonight, as you can see, this really disturbs my OCD. I have a kind of latent OCD thing, but you can see that although in the real world, this little strip of wood here, it's rectilinear, it is perpendicular to the earth, but on screen it looks crooked, and that really disturbs me. It also disturbs me that it's in the middle of the screen. It would be worse if it was right behind my head, like it looked like it was like an extension of my spine, or it looked like I was hanging on a cross. That's that's not a good look. It's I got to work it out. I got that guy has to sober up. I got to get my whole team to sober up. Um, you're right. I should stop pouring booze down their gullets at lunch. Those 3 martini lunches. Um, fight, fight, fight. That's funny. Oh, wow. Neurogeezer says it's good that this is not a porch swing because porch swings have killed many people. They're very dangerous. That's an interesting it's an interesting tidbit, which really undermines the image people have of the porch swing as a wholesome, peaceful place of repose and relaxation. Instead, it's deadly. Um, how tall are you? I am 6 feet 3 inches tall. I used to be 6'4", but I'm shrinking. Last week I was 6'4". This week I'm 6'3". So by Christmas I'm going to be 2'2". I think I did the math correctly. 2'2". I am swimming regularly. Chris, I'm so glad you asked me that, because that's something I wanted to talk about tonight. I haven't spoken about it for a little while, but tonight I'm going to speak about it. In fact, Richard says, perspective is in the eye of the beholder. In fact, it is. In fact, that's almost like a tautology, because I think That's what perspective means, the eye of the beholder. Is it a tautology or a solipsism? Someone help me out. I think it's a tautology. Barbara Rez book on. Oh, okay. We're talking about politics, which I that's another thing I wanted to talk about tonight. Which I let me do the swimming first. So here's what I wanted to say. So I'm wearing the T-shirt from last year's Swim for Life, the Provincetown Swim 2023. So I'm signing up for the Provincetown Swim 2024 to raise money for a bunch of good local nonprofit organizations. And what I decided to do, because for me to have motivation to work out and to stay in shape and to be really disciplined about it, I need a goal. I need a goal. A group is important. A group is very helpful. It's really good to have a group that you're working out with, but even more important for me is to have a goal. Like back in 2012, I set this big goal for myself that I was going to swim a million meters, a million meters in 1 year. That was 12 years ago. And I actually did it. And it's actually not that big a number as it sounds. It turns out if you're like a college swimmer, you do much more than that in practice in a normal season. But for a civilian like me, it was a lot. It just meant I had to spend a bunch of time in the pool every day doing laps. But having a goal like that was very helpful for me. Again, it's back to the OCD thing, like this, I can trick myself with a little number thing like that. So what I discovered 2 or 3 days ago is that this Provincetown Swim for Life. By the way, there are a lot of sharks up here. These are the sharkiest waters on planet Earth at this point, right here at the tip of Cape Cod, which is kind of weird. There were no sharks here in my youth, in the 70s, 80s, 90s. They just appeared, though, and now there are more sharks here, more great whites than anywhere. So my joke was that the Swim for Life, which happens in the bay, most of the sharks are in the ocean, and at this time of year, they're not even here yet. But instead of calling it the Swim for Life, they could call it the Swim for Your Life, because there are sharks in the water. But there really aren't sharks in the bay, like I said, on the ocean side. In any case, the Swim for Life happens once a year, raising money for a bunch of local organizations. It was a great event. Last year was the first time I did it, and just a great party atmosphere, really nice community vibe, a philanthropic vibe, a healthy vibe. And I really did way better from a fundraising point of view than I had expected. I can't remember what I said exactly, but I set a certain goal and ended up raising about 3 or 5 times more than I had expected. So this year I'm going to set a bigger goal. But here's why I wanted to bring it up. So I decided I wasn't that motivated with freestyle, so I decided I'm going to do the whole thing butterfly. That's my big challenge to myself. I'm going to do the 1.2 miles butterfly. It's a slow butterfly. There is a thing of long distance marathon butterfly swimming. There's a woman I looked up. She is the champion. She is I think, the undisputed champion of marathon butterfly. I'm going to say her name. It's try to find her name. Keith, is that her last name? She swam the English Channel butterfly. She's done a bunch of incredible swims. Vicky Keith. Look her up. Vicky, Vicki, Keith. She is the world record distance holder for the butterfly. She did one swim of 80.2 kilometers. That's like uh, 50 miles. She swam 50 miles. Butterfly. Anyway, the key is you go slow and you glide. With each stroke, you glide underwater. So it's like swimming, like if you were to watch like a high school or a college swimmer do the butterfly, it looks like a kind of like a porpoise going gutum 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 gutum. But the rhythm for this long distance butterfly is like a big, it's like a big, like a sperm whale, just going like, even slower than that. So it's strenuous, but you can maintain it for whatever, a few hours. But I'll only have to do it's about a half hour, the swim. And this is what I also wanted to say. The way that I'm training for it is I just decided, I did the math. I figured 1.2 miles is about 2,200 yards. And then I figured out how many strokes I need to do to get across a 25-yard swimming pool. And then how many laps that would be. It's about 80 laps. So I came up with I'll have to do about 700 strokes. 700 strokes will get me there. So a few days ago I went out and I did 100 strokes. And then yesterday I did 108 strokes, and then today I did 116 strokes. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just adding 8 strokes a day. That's my training. It's very simplistic. And it's probably from the point of view of like sports professionals or like physiologists. They would say that doesn't really make sense. You can't just add cumulatively like that and get to where you want to go. But that's how I'm going to do it. In a row, yes, Nix. Floating. It's the double kick, that's right. The soggy butterfly, that's funny. Oh, that's pretty good, 28 minutes in freestyle. Yeah. Yeah, it's very slow. Oh, Jamiroquai. Oh, that's cool. Has a song, Butterfly. I'm going to look up the Butterfly song. That's good. I was thinking of trying to get a team together for a fundraising point of view and just for the fun of the event. You can swim it as a team where everyone's doing the swim on their own, but you're part of a team. And then I thought we could call ourselves the Butterflies. Butterflies are terrible swimmers. That's true, and that's funny. Richard, you're 100% correct. It is their territory. The ocean is their home, and we're visitors. Absolutely. So that is the absolute correct attitude. And I was so horrified by the failed, felonious former president saying in one of his deranged speeches, talking about a shark attack and saying that the sharks were sort of mean. They're not mean. The sharks aren't mean. The sharks aren't nasty. The sharks are just sharks. And in fact, he was taking issue with the correct description of what happens when a shark happens to hurt a human, which is that they're, I don't know if confused is the right word, but they're just sampling the goods, and they're not after people. They don't go hunting for people. Wear a defibrillator on your back. That's funny. I wonder if they have that, an underwater defibrillator. Oh, look at that song. As I was walking down the street, down the street, down the street, a pretty little girl I chanced to meet, and we danced by the light of the moon. Oh, there's my low C that I didn't have the other night. Moon, moon, river, no moon. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? Moo. Moo. As I was walking down the street, down the street, down the street, a pretty little girl I chanced to meet, and we danced by the light of the moon. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? Moon. Ba, ba. There's the low B flat. That's for you, neurogeezer. Yeah, and then there's the Rachmaninoff Vespers, which also has the low B flats. There's a B flat for you. There's a B flat. Ba. There's a B flat. Ba, ba. There's the A. Ba, wah. Yeah, it just depends on the day. Usually it's early morning when you get that super low. Those super low notes. Yeah, the Rachmaninoff Vespers, which I never sang that, but I know that has some B flats in it. As I was walking down the street, down the street, down the street, a pretty little girl I chanced to meet, and we danced by the light of the moon. So I was walking, I met this girl on the street, and then suddenly we're dancing by the light of the moon. There's some missing moments, missing chapters in that story. There's a lacuna. There's an ellipsis. Is it ellipsis? There's a dot, dot, dot in that story. You're walking down the street, you meet a pretty little girl, and then suddenly you're dancing by the light of the moon. Like there's some missing dialogue. Where's the music coming from? I don't know what's going on. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight. And now he's calling out more Buffalo gals. You're not happy with this one girl that you met on the street you're dancing with? Now you want a whole bunch of gals? Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Words and music by Cool White. Wow, that was this guy's pen name who wrote that song, Buffalo Gals. I want to look this up. By the way, don't forget to look up Vicky Keith. Vicky Keith, swim coach and retired superstar marathon swimmer. Can you imagine that, swimming the English Channel 22 miles, all butterfly? I have a friend, Ian, who has a friend in France named Philippe, and apparently Philippe swam the Bay of Biscay. I think that's what it's called, the Bay of Biscay. Swam that whole thing butterfly, like 20 hours or something. It's kind of insanity. Buffalo gals didn't have 6 teeth between them. I can't speak dentally, orthodontically, or periodontically with any authority about the Buffalo gals. Oh, it was a moving performance. Thank you. Richard, I like your explanation for why I'm on the porch, that I locked myself out of the house. That's funny. It's a Wonderful Life. Oh, I got to look up that song. Thank you. And thank you, Chris. Yeah, that was fun when my dad and I would appear Thursday nights on the Feldman Show for about 3 years there. That was really super fun. Thanks. Thankfully, those things are still... Oh, it's a full moon tonight? Interesting. Yes, Cool White. That's not his real name. It was John Hodges. Let's look him up. Cool White. John Hodges. John Hodges was an American... What? Minstrel player. He lived from 1821 to 1891. John Hodges. He was an American blackface minstrel entertainer. Who wrote or popularized the song Buffalo Gals, published by him in 1840. 1944 under the title Lovely Fan. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, I had no idea. Pardon me for even reading that title. I didn't realize. I didn't know what I was looking at. Some dispute as to whether he wrote or adapted the original tune. So he was, yikes, part of that reprehensible tradition. He later performed as a Shakespearean clown. In 1879, he also acted the straight role of Uncle Tom in a stage version of the famous anti-slavery melodrama. Okay. All right. We learned something tonight. John Hodges, also known as Cool White, I guess, because he was doing that terrible tradition of blackface. There's a moon out tonight. Dance by the light of the moon. Well, I also wanted to talk about a political thing tonight, which I didn't get to. Maybe I will save that for tomorrow. Well, I'll just touch on it, which was, I assiduously avoid politics on this show, not because I don't think about it. In fact, I think about it all day, and I consume a lot of content about it. I read the papers, I watch a few left-wing YouTubers, I read a few periodicals. Well, no, just the New Yorker, really. And I didn't feel like adding even more to this tsunami of political coverage. And I wanted this show to be a bit of an oasis from that. But I also feel like with the election being just 5 months away and it being so critical, I feel like doing something apart from fundraising and donating to Movement Voter Project and to the Biden-Harris campaign. In addition to that, I would like to do something with my performance or with my videos or with my show that could sway even a few people. So what I was thinking of doing was, and I took some preliminary steps right before the show, I started reading. It's kind of a horrific thing, but you can read the transcripts of some of the speeches by the failed, felonious former president. You can read the texts of his speeches, which shows you how disjointed and deranged they are. I mean, you can hear it when it's spoken, but when you see it in writing, it adds another level. In any case, I was reading them with the idea of recording some of them, but just recording them straight, recording them kind of as though they were sonnets or as though they were texts of some sort of religious texts, really, like imagining that a few centuries hence, if the cult continued, they would read his words like you would read Mao's sayings or like you would read the gospel. And to read them straight and with gravitas or gravity, to read them gravely might underscore how insane they are when they don't have the patina of his weird delivery. They're just straight words without any comedy or any commentary. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. And that'll probably just be a separate little series that I'll do. I'm not sure. So that's what I'm thinking about. Oh, that's funny. Mom, thanks for letting me know. Blazing Saddles has a Buffalo cow scene. That's a great movie. I gotta watch that again. Who were the Buffalo Gals? Who or what is a buffalo gal? Dancing girls who performed in the bars. Yeah. Oh, we looked at this a few months ago in the brothels of the Canal District of Buffalo. Buffalo gals. They might have been hookers. All right. Yes, the best words, Chris. Absolutely. I'll I'll be here at 9 always. Every night at 9 always. When the things you've planned need a helping hand, I will understand always, always. Can I play any Steely Dan? I can't. Steely Dan is incredible. Steely Dan is, I think, like melodically and harmonically, just way out there. It's some complicated stuff. And I behind the wheel, running up and down the theaters in the world. I gotta see. I love that stuff. I had a roommate in college who was really into Steely Dan. Yeah, I've sort of been avoiding copywritten material or copyrighted material. Um, but I don't know if I'm going to continue avoiding it. But that's what I've been doing. Anyhow, days. When the things you plan need a helping hand, I will stand, stand always, always. Oh, I lost where I was. I'll be loving you always, with a love that's true always. When the things you plan need a helping hand, I will understand always, always. Days may not be fair always. That's when I'll be there always. Here, Hildy, come up here. Not just for an hour, not just for a day, not just for a year, but always. I'm always here at 9. Hildy, do you want to say a little quick hello? 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 She made a reluctant cameo. Now I'm going to take her out. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you tomorrow night and every night at 9 right here on The No Show.